Good morning. I'm your host, Fred Ellis, on your pottery adventure. This is Something Southern Pottery. We want to welcome you and hope that you have an enjoyable experience with your pottery. Good morning. Just getting started. We're going to be, as you can see, we've got the pots done and all the lids made. You got to see that in the last video. I cover everything once I throw everything and get it done. We let it dry for a while till it gets to a certain consistency. And overnight, I cover them in plastic. I don't believe a pottery can survive these days without plastic. Get my light on, turn on the wheel, because I'm not going to be throwing, but I'm going to be trimming this morning. So what we do is we put the first pot on, take it, smooth out any defects we see in the rim. Sometimes I create little defects just by touching them with the calipers, which is what I did on this one. It's got kind of a little defect inside. Just moisten it up a little bit, work it out. I don't want these too sticky because I'm going to put the lids on them to make sure they fit. As I told you, that's why I like this system. I can take this pot and now a little bit large, so that means I get to trim it up some, which is what I like to do. And I start trimming it a little bit. When it's just the right consistency, when you make a nice rope like that, if it crumbles, it's a little too dry. If you get crumblies instead of that rope, and if it's a little too damp, it'll stick to your clay, and either one of those is not good. So now I trim what I think I need off of it, and then I put it back on this pot to be sure. Make sure my pot's level. Okay, still got a little bit more to go. I'm going to take just a little bit off the inside of the pot. I don't worry about those crumblies falling down in there too much. Tip them over, let it dry a little bit. Okay, we're getting there. Just a little bit more here. Alright, take a little bit more off the lid. Like I say, I get a little persnickety about the fit on these things. I like them to fit. I want them to fit close. They're going to dry a little bit more. That's why I make sure that I have enough room for them to dry and shrink a little bit. All right, one more little touch. As you can see, it's got a pretty good fit. One more little bit around. And I think we'll have this one. Perfect. Now what we do, I'm gonna still leave this one on the bat yet. We're not through. What I am going to do is now take the lid off the bat at the right consistency. It's very easy to do. I use my fettling knife. This one is a Kemper number, I think it's a 96. A 97's a little harder. I use both. This is a fairly soft fettling knife. And I just slip it under the pot. And take it right off the bat. Now, I set this on the pot. You can see it fits real snugly. And then I'll trim that up later to fit just exactly right. Now, a soft rubber rib, I use this to clean my bats. And this bat's ready to set aside, ready to reuse again. Now for the next one. That rim looks pretty good. I didn't mar it too bad. Let's see what we've got with the... Okay, that's very close. Set that aside. What do they say now, Hugh? What do they say now? It's just kind of wash, rinse, and repeat all the way through all of these. I'm going to take you through a couple of more. Then I'm going to give you a break from me yammering so much and take the rest of them off the bat. Then I'll get back with you and show you the final and show you the trimming on the lids. This is just the initial trimming to get started. Once we get them off, we'll be putting a finial on them. We'll get a little... Okay, that one fit right up right quick. So now we'll clean this off. Again, take it off the bat. All I do is sit this at the bat head. The minute you feel it move the first time, you know you've popped it loose from the wheel. Fits right there. All right, now what we do is check this. We'll make sure we've got a good seal on here, and it's basically in the middle of the wheel. Then all I can do is start trimming. Now, I don't have to put it on anything else. It's on the pot it's going to sit on the whole time. I'm just making a little cap lid here, so keep it kind of clamped down on the pot a little bit so I can get this clay off to exactly the spot I want it to. I say just a little cap lid. I'm just getting it to the shape I want. I'm watching it over there. How do I think it looks on the pot? Now I'm wanting to put a knob on it. So I decide exactly where the center of this is just by making a line on it. Kind of score it a little bit. Got a scoring tool I use, bought. Now just take a little water, and what that does is I'm actually making slip out of the cell. I've got some clay over here. Get me kind of the amount I want to make a ball. Make a little knob. I just make a ball of clay out of it. Then I put it in the center here. I begin to turn it until I begin to get as I turn it and move it, I can begin to feel the clay begin to stick to the pot. It begins to not want to turn, so I have to turn the whole wheel then. And I can get it to where it gets a grip on that, seals down to the head. Now I can get some water on my fingers. Begin to make a good seal there. I've got a good seal. Make sure my sponge is kind of dry. Take it off. Now, show you what we had a minute ago. Sharp stick. Now I'll take this pot off the bat. See, this is why I use a wood stick and rubber tools a lot of the time, because I'm on the head of the bat. Now, I still use metal tools, and I have to be careful with them because otherwise they'll dig up that plaster. Oh, now I want to fix my profile exactly the way I want it. I can leave it sloped or have a little slight curve to it, or a more distinct curve, or I can just make it flat. Just depends on what I want to do with the pots. I don't want them to end up looking exactly alike. I want them to be different. That way, when you come into my booth or see these pots of mine in a gallery somewhere, I don't do as many galleries as I used to. And it's just more trouble sometimes than it's worth. And besides, I don't get to talk to anybody in a gallery, and you know what a talker I am. That's why I like art and craft fairs. You get to see people, they can ask you questions about the pot. A lot of people say, well, what do you use it for? And I go, sure, pot, anything you want to use it for. I design them, they'll hold something and they'll cover it and keep the kitchen dust off of it that gets in your house. So whatever you want to use it for, I personally suggest pasta. Makes a good spaghetti jar. It'll hold spaghetti. You can break your spaghetti to the length you want it to be to cook, and just keep it right in your jar there. So now all I want to do is I want to smooth this up, make sure that it doesn't have any marks on the outside. I can smooth it even more with a plastic rib. Sometimes use one of these. Laura likes a good smooth surface to do her decorations on, because if it's the smoother it is, the less her tool jumps when she's carving into it and doing her sgraffito. Now, she doesn't do sgraffito on all of them. Some of them she paints designs on, but that way it's nice and smooth, or smooth enough if she wants it. Don't forget my moat. Kind of let my finger run over it, my smoothing tool. See how it looks with the lid on it. Just a little cap lid, nothing too fancy. All right, I like that. Like I say, I made that indentation here, my moat. I also make it, cut the foot in at an angle. One of the instructors I had and took a class from one time told me if you make that indentation there, it makes a shadow on it. So therefore, it kind of looks like your pot's floating on the table. So then I take my thumb and fingers and I smooth the bottom out. Could smooth it a little more, make it really, but there again, I once saw a guy cry when he noticed a fingerprint of a potter on a 900-year-old mean vase. And I asked him why, and he said, well, it just made a connection with that potter from all those hundreds of years ago. And I thought, okay, yeah, I can see that. That's why I don't take all the marks off my pots. I leave some throwing marks, I leave some tool marks. I just leave some marks on the pot, period. I do it at all the phases. And we're ready to finish the rest of these up. I'm not going to sit here and do all these. We'll be back. So we're going to be glazing. We showed you the pots we made for the lidded jars. We're going to be glazing the jars. I hold them roughly for a count of 5. As I told you, I wax my bottoms. That makes it very simple to clean off. I can set them aside. Each jar has its own lid, so we're keeping them separate. I'm not going to, sometimes I fire the lids on the jars, wherever, but this time we wax the bottom just for simplicity's sake. These all fit very nicely. So now I just set that lid with the jar. And we'll do another one. Let me get a count of 5. Same thing. I hope you can see it. I have waxed the lid. What little bit of glaze stays on the lid, on the rim, will bead up real easy and be removed by the sponge very easily. Always twist my pots a little bit while they're in the glaze. That way I get a fairly even coating on it where hopefully there won't be a lot of runs. As you notice, I don't use my fingers. I use a set of tongs to glaze with. Makes a very small impression. The spot is so small it doesn't matter, and I just consider it as a decorative piece or part of the pot and go on with it. And thank you. That takes care of this portion of the video. Please like the videos. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. Check out our website. And we will see you next time. Thank you. This is Fred Ellis for Something Southern. Good day.